Hi everyone. Hi. There to the message. Jesse Herman. You are loved. Oh, got them there. Oh well. Um. Well, anyway, wanted to update you with what's going on in my life. Why I haven't really been doing this thing. Been busy, like I said, with doctors, with family drama. Oh God, it got better. My family drama just got better. I had to disown all of them because of what they did a couple days before New Year's. Oh, I got the juice for you, honey. I swear. They, my sister, this is how it all went down. Let me give you the hot tea on this. Um, it started, my sister wanted to talk with Cindy about Christmas and blah, 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 blah. Next thing I know, she asked both of us, which was eerie because normally they go to Cindy first, and then sweet talk Cindy into talking to me. But this time they talked straight to me and her, which I found kind of odd. Okay, that was not the way they usually work. So I said yes, figure since my daughter's gonna be going to college and stuff like that, and wanting to get on her own, she ain't gonna be seeing them for a while. So anyway, I decided, yeah, sure, go right ahead. And they haven't seen each other in 2 years, so you know. Sometimes my boyfriend, my sister's husband, boyfriend, whatever, goes and picks her up. As he's leaving, as he's picking her up, oh, don't worry, Jesse, we'll have her back by that Thursday. And all week I've been hearing this from Mom, my sister, and her husband. She'll be back. Don't worry, she will be back on Thursday. Okay, I knew something was gonna. Ooh, damn, not. Ah, don't you hate that? So anyway, damn, this is not the top of my head. It's like one of those nippy knots, and then it hurts when you're trying to pull it apart. There we go. So anyway, they went. I even had her on voice chat, my sister, and she's like, "Don't worry, Jess, she will be there by Thursday. I will make sure of it." Da 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 da. And they hung up from the video chat or whatever, because they were ice skating. Well, Tammy, her husband, and her two kids with my child, with my team, my pre-adult team, pre-adult child. Um, so I was like, okay, fine. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because they pulled stuff like this before where they said they were going to pick me up or pick my daughter up or do something where it involves driving up to where I live and then driving me back. And they landed the responsibility on my mom, who is now in her 60s and has a phobia of driving. Or so she says. My mother says. Okay? And my mom's like, oh, she's gonna don't worry. She gave me the routine of what was going on that week and everything, my mom. Next thing I know, I hear she's coming back Friday. I'm like, Friday? I thought, what happened to Friday? And this was on Wednesday. And then they flipped it back to Thursday. Then it was back to Friday. So I was like, on Thursday, I was like getting sick and tired of it. I was like, what is going on? Is Cindy coming home today? Or is she coming home? What is Tammy and Alan, which are their names, freaking doing with my child? Why aren't they bringing her home? So I'm like, it's either you or them are bringing them home. And my mom's like, I can't have my phone, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why can't you have George over the weekend drive her home? I don't want to. I mean, she was coming up with excuses. And she was sticking up for my sister on top of it. And I was like, had enough of that. So I was like, Sin, give me Alan's phone number so I can call him and find out what the hell is going on. Because I'm getting freaking mixed messages here. So I call him up. And Lord Almighty, God forbid I call him. Okay? To ask what is going on with my child. So I asked him, why ain't you driving her home today? When are you planning on driving home? I mean, I was not trying to give him the third degree, but I wanted my child. I'm the mother. I don't, And he's like, I'm tired. That's the reason why. Don't call my phone again. You mental bitch. And I'm like, wow, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And I'm like, since you're talking to me like that, I want my child home. And if my child is not home by tonight, I will be calling the cops. And that's when he hung up on me. Next thing you know, he goes and picks up Cindy from my mother's house and drives her home. When he hit my front door, he started verbally abusing me in front of my boyfriend and my kid, and was starting to enter my house like he was going to freaking do something to me. I was sitting at the computer in the living room, staring at him, dumbfounded that he has even the balls to just say anything to me at my own home. So my boyfriend gets up from the couch to defend me, and he tries to enter my house yet again. And that's when he starts pushing him back like, you're not entering my house. And that's when my sister's boyfriend clocks my boyfriend. And that's what pissed my boyfriend off. So he tosses his ass out onto the sidewalk and tell him, you are not coming in this house. You are not coming near Jesse. You're not even coming on this property ever again. If I seen you on this property. And before he even said that, Alan clocks him again. So Daryl puts his hands up in defense and starts doing these karate moves and stuff, trying to defend himself from my sister's boyfriend. And as soon as my boyfriend starts getting in a defensive mode, he says something cocky to Daryl and laughs in his face and walks away to his car and drives off like a bat out of hell. I should have pressed charges on Alan's ass because we called my mother soon right after that to let her know what was going on. And then we also told her he's going to turn the whole thing around on us, saying that we hit him and everything else. And what did Alan do like a coward? He went and told everyone that my boyfriend hit him and that we were the troublemakers in this situation. I'm sorry, but my sister will open her eyes sooner or later to see how much of a liar this man is. If he's lying about this, what else is he lying about to my family? I don't know what. I'm sorry, but this man is not a decent man. Before my sister even married this man, we went on a family vacation back in 2009 down to the shore in Jersey. And he was putting me down. He was messing with me and my mother and my stepfather's stuff in our hotel room. I mean, he even put our money, our wallets, and everything in the safe that's in the hotel room and changed the goddamn combination on us. so we couldn't get at our stuff that was in the safe. And he thought it was freaking hilarious. This is the type of man my sister married. I'm sorry. I did not like him after that. And I will not like him after this. I don't want him anywhere near me, my daughter, or anything else. And they got married in Puerto Rico. So I don't even know if their marriage is even legal in the United States. If they're really married or not. And when they did get married, did they invite me, my daughter, my mother, George? No. It was her husband, and her friends. There was not one family member on her side that was there. I would not have done that. But yeah, my mom still sticks up for her. She always plays favorites with my sister. Ever since I've been born. She sent me away to my grandmother while taking care of keeping her. I was the one with health problems. I'm the one that needed her. But yeah, what did she do? She sent me away while keeping my daughter. And then her excuse was, oh, my husband at the time, Michael Vecchio, wouldn't let me keep both kids until I have another kid. I mean, sometimes I don't believe the bullshit that comes out from her. I'm sorry, I don't believe half the shit that comes out of her mouth. I'm starting to not believe anything she says. And then I'm also mad at my Aunt Tina. Because all the time I lived with my father and my brother and my stepmom, she knew all about how my father was and stuff like that. But did she speak up to my mother? Did she speak up to anyone about her experiences with her own brother? I'm sorry. If you knew your brother freaking molested you and did weird shit to you when you were a child, that would be a red flag to fucking speak up and tell your brother's ex-wife or mother of her child that man is not a good man. He's maybe a pedophile. He may be this. He may be that. She did not speak up for over 30 years about this until just recently, which makes me a little peeled at her. Because I lived with my daughter with this man. He fucking sexually assaulted me. I didn't know what else he did while I was living there. Because I was down in the basement. I was not... this is where me and Britney... The title of this thing... I connect with Britney on this matter. Because I lived in a conservatorship sort of type. They didn't have it legally. But they acted like they did. Okay? They had control of every single aspect of my life when I lived in where I was living with them. I can't even say it because of the fact that it makes me sick. That my mother even allowed me to go there. After the fact that when I was a child, I was abused by this man and this woman. She sent me away yet again. But God forbid, when my sister got pregnant, she allowed her to stay at age 16. Got her into school to get her a GED that had a babysitting program so they could babysit her kid while she went to school. But God forbid, a month or so after I have my kid, you're going to fuck up with your father, who's a fucking who I know in the past freaking did shit to you. So I'm going to put my granddaughter in that situation also. I tried to fight tooth and nail this day. Oh, I wish I could write a book. I really wish I could write a book. Because the things I freaking would reveal. Wish I could say shit. The things I know. I wish I could open my mouth about every single thing about them. They are such two-faced people. Money-hungry, greedy motherfuckers. And everyone wonders where I come from. Why I'm such a sweetheart. Why am I the way I am? Because I was raised by those people. And I didn't want to be raised by those people. The amount of control they want, it just blows my mind. Blows my mind. I mean, I've been controlled by these people for over 25 years. I'm not doing it anymore. I am an adult now, almost 40 years old. And I know where Britney's coming from. Because my family was the same way. They did it legally with the conservatorship. My family didn't. I was not allowed to have phone calls. If I had phone calls, they would listen into my phone calls. I couldn't date unless they allowed it. And here I am, 20-something years old, not allowed to date. Okay? I couldn't have control of my own child. The only time I was able to see my child was mornings and afternoons to pick her up and drop her off at school, and on Sunday, which they call Mother-Daughter Day. I mean, they had control of everything. And when I took back all control, they did not like that. They said if I don't go back to the way they were, I am not family. And they would want me out. And I'm like, I'm not family. But yet you treat Serena and all those other people like family. You guys are just fucked up in the head. And as soon as they said that, I said, that's it. I'm out. I told my boyfriend we need to find a place to stay because I'm gone. I'm not going to be treated like this. Because at that time, I did not have no hot water for baths and showers because they turned that off on me. I did not have cable. They literally put their fist through the wall and tore the wires out of the wall. They changed the Wi-Fi password so I couldn't have internet. I was a prisoner. I was scared every night before I met the man I'm living with now. I was so frightened that I slept with a knife underneath my pillow. I slept in the basement, which during the winter times got below 0 down there. I'm surprised I survived down there. They were mentally, physically abusive. I mean, I was abused every which way from Sunday. My foot isn't healed right because my brother took his Timberland steel-toe boots and slammed it on top of my foot while his foot was in it and refused to take me to the hospital afterwards. And he would laugh at me every time I needed to go to the bathroom because there was no bathroom downstairs. So I had to climb myself up those stairs. And he would laugh at me as I climbed those stairs to go to the bathroom on the main floor. I mean, he would say shit to me that would warp someone else's mind. He would say, if you move out, I'll find you, break into your place, put drugs in your house, and I have your child within the month. Or, no one else can take care of you. We can only take care of you. You ain't gonna be able to live out on your own. So it's better you stick with us. I mean, they made my mom and George think I was crazy enough to where I needed to be prescribed psychotic drugs when I didn't need them. I was so damn depressed with myself. And this all because my mother forced me into this situation. I was a prisoner for almost 10 years in that place. 10, a little over 10 years in that place. And when I moved out, my grandparents passed away. And I couldn't even go to their funeral. I couldn't talk to that side of the family. My Aunt Tina, my grandma, or anybody. I couldn't talk to anybody because then they would find out where I am. I was afraid that they would know where I am. I was like Aunt Frank, living with my friend at the time for 3 months. And I find out later, after I moved into Lansford, that through my mother's conversation, I have proof that she did this because I freaking took pictures of and everything of this freaking conversation between my mother, my stepfather, freaking the girl, the my friend's girlfriend, who's now wife and baby mama, and my brother, about me and my boyfriend and Cindy. They were gonna push me back into where I was, break me and my boyfriend up, and no one would know where I was. It was a dangerous situation. Lisa did not understand. She didn't want me there. It was constant argument between the two of them because me and Daryl and Cindy were there. He was sleeping on the couch. Me and Cindy were sleeping in one room, in one bed, because I was only allowed to take one bed from the household I moved from. Cindy barely had any clothes because they made sure that half of that shit was locked up in a room where I couldn't get at it. Even though half that shit was bought by my mother. And proof, there's a proof picture in my files and stuff. And in Kelly and Ryan's safe Facebook account of their youngest daughter, Ariana, wearing a green Christmas dress. And that green Christmas dress was fucking my daughter's. The cruelty had no end in this house. I had to wait until everyone else ate before I could eat. And my brother would make sure that there was not really much food left for me to eat. And then I would have to do the dishes. Do all their and my dishes. I wasn't allowed to cook. I wasn't allowed to learn how to cook. I was literally kept a prisoner. So I know where Brittany's coming from. And from what I hear from her little sister, I applaud Brittany for saying, fuck you. I don't want nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with my mother. Nothing to do with my father. And they're still trying to profit off of it. Brittany. I want Brittany to come out, do a telebook, do something to prove to the world that she's not crazy. And freaking her sister is all about me. This is all about, they're gaslighting her. They're narcissistic people. And I've lived with these type of people. I wouldn't believe anything Jamie Lynn Spears or her father or mother say. Because you can tell that Brittany is living her life now. She is happy. And they can't stand it. They want to be a part of it. I can tell they can't stand it because Brittany's mother had to get on a fucking plane around Thanksgiving time to try to get Brittany back into under their thumb. How controlling is this? She is a 40-some, almost 40-year-old woman. Or is she a 40-year-old woman? I know. She's around my age. And I don't blame her for having enough. I don't blame her for having enough with these people. She needs to put a gag order on these people. Sue them for all it's worth. Get her money back from these people. And if they need to be locked up, lock them up. Because they are taking advantage of her. Even to this day. And it's not right. It's not right. I'm not a Britney fan, but I know what she is going through. She needs to get away from these people. She needs to find a way of putting a gag order on these people from saying shit. And if you notice through the interview on Good Morning America, it's me. I'm the victim. I played the victim. And now what narcissistic people do, they like to make the victim the victim. Make the victim the enemy here while they play the victim. Oh, poor me. Jamie is my brother. Here. I do not believe anything she says. I do not pity her because due to the fact that she had a hand in her conservatorship at one point. And to be part of a conservatorship, she needs to know the responsibilities and what she needs. You know what I'm saying? She acted like she was naive about the whole thing. No. They had to sit her down, have her read a paper about what the freaking conservative entails and everything. She had to write her goddamn name on a piece of paper. So she was part of the controllingness that was keeping Britney locked up. And having her not become a mother, become a mother again and stuff like that. And controlling her career. And don't tell me she don't know because of the fact that she used Britney's money to freaking fund her freaking hotel trips to the Ritz and shit. She was living out of a Ritz hotel at one point. Okay? She's not innocent in this at all. Okay? I'm sorry, no. I'm sorry. And I've even heard that there's been this happening in their family in the past with past relatives. It's not okay to do this to a human being. Taping her every move. That's invasion of privacy. If the person is not living with you, that's voyeurism. If I'm not mistaken. I'm watching Popcorn the Planet on this, and it's, oh my God, she's...
Can't imagine how Jamie Lynn could get Britney angry. Britney, I'm so sorry you had to deal with this family. I can't. I would never have the patience. I would have been screaming all the time.
I thank Britney for bringing this to the forefront because this has happened to me.
That is such a telling thing. She's Britney. She always uses and exploits her own kids to make her own benefit.
Exactly.
She'll learn them out, but she'll use them as props to help her make her a better mother and all this stuff. And all the kids feel for me.
If she was such a good person, she wouldn't have spread her legs at age 16 to become a mom.
I didn't think Jamie Lynn's realized
okay.
She's admitting. If the kid's mediating, that implies
think of that
fight that's going both ways. My guess is there was arguing and screaming on both sides of that fight that the daughter felt like, oh man, aunt and mom, stop fighting, is probably what actually happened.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
Like, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're 12. But rather than respect everyone's wishes, Jamie Lynn says her family was reverting to unhealthy patterns.
Oh, like recording your sister, like putting her on stuff, medications that she doesn't even know what they are, like holding her kids
Like
from
they
her,
tried to do
like
with
not
me.
letting her have any friends that are approved by your drunk dad.
Her parents'
My
response,
father was a
they
fucking
told
drunk
me that I
when
shouldn't
I was
be
a
upset.
child.
Like, I can't upset Britney. I said, you just saw me and my children be upset.
So literally, the unhealthy ways are you can't upset Britney. This is the big reveal.
When will I matter?
There it is. When you know what? Honestly,
When will
genuinely,
I
the
matter?
answer, never.
Never,
No
never,
one cares
never.
about you. I'm
No.
not gonna from a celebrity. I'm sure your family, your friends, there are people in your life that care about you, but you want to be cared like Britney is cared by, and that's never gonna happen.
Nope.
It's never. You are nowhere near
Britney status.
like at all.
Exactly.
You do not have talent like your sister. Like in watching your interviews, I'm sorry, I'm done. I'm done. Jamie, you are the worst interviewee I've been watching your videos. You just talk nonsensically. You have no good sound bites. Your makeup is overdone.
And she's
everything.
doing the interview out of the publicist that fucking kept Britney locked up in this. She's dressed up in this woman's clothes.
Yelling, aggressive Southern Belle. I believe it wholeheartedly. And if you were that, you embraced that and became some sort of conservative pundit on The View, maybe you'd find some love. Honestly, maybe that's what you gotta do. But whatever this fake lying nonsense is, you're never gonna.
And she was going in the line before this, saying that her daughters were being threatened to get murdered and shit. When her Instagram account and shit was put on private and shit. You cannot send them a message and them sending you a message back. And she showed that she sent messages to this person. And she even came out with a video stating blah blah blah. There is no way for her to do. I mean, she is a fucking liar. She's been proved to be a liar in the past.
Jamie Lynn's my voice is so important. I have to have my voice heard. Yeah, you had a voice. Britney hasn't had a voice. She's literally.
Britney hadn't had a voice. Yeah.
To get a proper lawyer that represents her, not her family.
Exactly.
And my voice needs to be heard. Jamie Lynn's voice needs to be heard right now. Oh my God, girl. Oh my God. So anyway, now you're fueling. But your position is let's give the Sun, TMZ, and Page 6 all this nasty ammo to once again call your sister crazy. Great. You're really helping Jamie Lynn, but it's so funny. So funny talking about the knife-wielding sister. Huh. Wait,
and my sister wielded a knife towards me when I was a teen.
Legitimately think
Okay.
Jamie Lynn wrote this to try and remove her own knife-wielding craziness from Google. Because if you guys know, which we Jamie Lynn Spears jumped over like a subway, like a sandwich shop,
and she grabbed a knife.
She jumped over and grabbed a knife to break up a fight at the pita pit, and like erratically, like, hey, what is this? Oh
my God! But yeah, God forbid, Britney. No. That's crazy. Britney's not crazy.
Erratic knife-wielding sister out there, so that top line's mine. No, I'm sure the people over at
look it up. You'll see this shit.
How to bury articles and try to change up the headlines? No, right? No way. God forbid we remind people about the actual crazy sister who had a knife and
and I will look up this article and post it in the description below.
I watched this interview, and to all you reporters, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, ma'am, but how dare you? How dare you, knowing this is a human rights issue for all women and anybody, how dare you sit there and give her this puff piece? Oh, you're such a brave woman. Blah, blah. Gross. You are now all involved now. You're all
involved in this.
You didn't ask any hard questions.
Nope.
What do you wish those people understood about you, and what do you hope they maybe get from the book?
What are haters? What do we wish we understood from the book? Let's hear from our own words. Come on, Jamie Lynn. What do we need to hear? Here it is. Let's hear this amazing revelation. Here we go.
Really understanding that, I came into this family 10 years after the last child that was born, and I didn't decide or make any of these choices.
She couldn't even say Britney's name. Okay.
Adapt, yeah.
You didn't make any choices. Got it. Okay. What is this right now?
You're not making a choice now? God.
You didn't make a choice to sleep around when you were 16?
16 years old?
Not her choice. Got it.
Not choice, no.
You didn't make a choice to become a singer and make songs? I'm confused what choices she
You
didn't make.
Okay.
You didn't choose to tribute your sister and always constantly try to get attention? No. Guys, she's been pushed around the whole time. She didn't want any of this. She doesn't want to be famous.
And
if she didn't want to be famous, then don't write the book. Don't be the singer. Don't be the actress. Don't spread your legs for every Dick, Sam, Dick, and Harry.
People just, need to understand that I've only ever tried to be my own person and create.
Sorry, you only ever tried to be your own person. Oh yeah, you're never associated with Britney. Literally every.
Oh please.
Your whole life is about Britney. You're always
bringing her up. Every single time they talk to you, you always bring her up.
A life and a future for me and my children that is my own, so that I can have this book to look back.
She is still immature. She really is.
I'm allowed to have that, even if it's messy, even if it might hurt some people's feelings, or it might be scary for myself. But I just have to do what is my truth and my voice.
Her truth.
Truth in her voice. What is her truth?
You again failed to realize your sister didn't have a voice.
Yep.
Literally.
Britney did not have a voice for 13 years.
At that point, we all heard the audio, and it was heart-wrenching. And more has been revealed about your sisters, and you just don't seem to care.
No.
So we're just supposed to believe that the secret recordings are all false? That's not
yeah.
You're just going to not even acknowledge that.
She didn't even acknowledge that the fact that she was being recorded. That Britney was being recorded.
Where the money came from. What's going on. Dude, Jamie Lynn, you look guilty as sin. None of this is helping. This is not what you do to establish a healthy relationship with your sister. You're out there doing damage control for Team God. That's what you're doing. You are team conservatorship all day long. And
exactly.
Sam Lutfi, who was there through it all, I was texting about this, and he said it. He said it best. I'm going to read it again. You, Jamie Lynn, and I believe him. I know a lot of people don't, but I believe him on this. You were so jealous of her. Over the 13 years I've contacted her numerous times to help her sister, she wanted nothing to do with
her.
She never wanted to help her sister.
Now she's screaming she wanted to help her. Where was she?
She's been so jealous and spiteful. The last thing she ever wanted was for Britney to be free, afraid of her retaliating, as she recently displayed. Jamie Lynn calls her sister crazy non-stop. She's doing it here in these interviews. This isn't some tight-knit family. They all can't stand each other. So Jamie
That's from Sam Lutfi, Britney's boyfriend.
Cool. Not buying it, girl. Doesn't mean I'm a hater. Just means I like the truth and justice and don't like people being trafficked like she was.
Yep, exactly.
You think you'd be, really wanting to help her, but it doesn't seem like you did. What was the quote? Remember, guys, started out the quote. This doesn't affect me in the slightest. Either way. That's literally what Jamie Lynn Spears said as it was all coming to a head. Guys, this doesn't affect me at all. Either way. Yeah, but you got empathy, girl. We care about you. Okay, girl, whatever. We're just...
oh my God, this is sickening. Sickening. And here's from Sloan. S-O-L-A-N. Sloan.
Just when you guys think that Jamie Lynn couldn't get any worse, she does. Because, as you know, she did an interview with Good Morning America, and I had no idea that there were two parts. So we learned additional information about Jamie Lynn and her relationship with Britney. So let's go ahead and just dive into it. So we're going to start off by listening to a story time that Jamie Lynn tells about Britney, where they got into an argument, and it wasn't pretty.
Jamie Lynn says their relationship came to a head during the pandemic. She writes that Britney came at me screaming and getting up in my face. while she was holding her toddler, Ivy, in her arms.
She cursed at me, and so I just walked out.
And I wonder why she cursed at Jamie. She didn't reveal why she came at her cursing and angry at her. For one, okay? She did not reveal that. Brittany might have had a good reason to be going after her sister at the time.
Oldest daughter tried to, mediate the situation. I hated that. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do.
She didn't reveal why the argument started or how the argument started.
Jamie Lynn says her family was
Question that.
Unhealthy patterns. Her parents' response?
They told me that I shouldn't be upset. Like, I can't upset Brittany. Said, you just saw me and my children be upset. When will I matter?
Despite their complicated relationship,
You should see Sloane's face.
Her big sister, Brittany, who's 10 years older, was like a second mother to her.
Okay, so obviously the fight isn't good news, but I would like to know a little bit more context there. Like, why was Brittany upset? Why was she yelling? Why was your daughter in the place to even mediate a situation like this? And more importantly, why are you telling this now? Are you trying to make Brittany seem like she's unstable? She's in such a vulnerable time in her life right now, getting out of this conservatorship and spreading news like this. It's just going to make it harder for Brittany. Jamie Lynn claims that Brittany's like a mother figure to her.
Do I feel like I like that?
But yeah, she feels Brittany's a mother figure.
That much and to have
to her.
If
you care about the person so much, you just don't open your mouth anymore.
Love your siblings, and especially me,
you
feel like she was my mama.
Yes.
So if
support
like
the person.
Then why are you going and talking about her like this on the internet and trying to make her look worse? It makes me think about the fact that Brittany brought up to the judge that her family goes on to TV and does interviews and really talks crap about her, and Brittany can't do a thing because for the past 13 years she's had to ask her dad for permission, and of course he's not going to let her go out there and talk about the family, but the family can say whatever they want to about Brittany. There's another story that Jamie Lynn brings up in this interview, and it's about Brittany grabbing a knife and trying to, seclude them from everyone else, isolate them from everyone else because she was super paranoid. And it makes me wonder why Jamie Lynn isn't talking about her own knife situation, but we'll visit that in a second.
In the book, you describe an incident where Brittany...
You don't talk about that.
It says she's scared and locks you and herself into a room. Why did you want to include that in the book?
Because, first off, I think that experiencing my own panic attacks and how sometimes we can...
we all have panic attacks, dearie.
Is important.
Just deal with it. Go to a therapist and deal with it.
I was a kid in that moment. I was scared. That was an experience I had. But I also was fearful to, really say anything because I didn't want to upset anybody, but I also was so upset that she didn't feel safe.
Words that you used in the book to describe her behavior over your lifetime was erratic, paranoid, spiraling.
Why is Jamie Lynn going around and just talking crap about her sister? And again, why don't we revisit when Jamie Lynn was in a restaurant with a knife acting crazy? Like, if you're going to try to talk about Brittany, why don't we go back to your own story? And I find it fascinating that...
And why didn't Jamie get arrested for that?
No, it just wasn't important enough. So, who's this book really about? Because it sounds like it's you just ranting on about Brittany. I would like to hear about why you were at a restaurant and went behind the counter with a knife in such a crazy moment. Now let's talk about the awards show situation.
Exactly. Why didn't she get arrested for that? Any normal human being would have gotten the cops called on them.
Brittany actually had an issue with this. So let's listen to what they have to say, and then I'll explain my thoughts.
I don't like that my sister showed up at an awards show and performed my songs to remixes. My so-called support system hurt me deeply.
Honestly, it was somewhat confusing to me about that, and I actually have spoke to her about that.
And I thank Brittany for speaking up about these type of people, because these people need to stop using good people like Brittany, like me. Come on. These people need to be put in jail and be... I'm sorry. This is human rights for people like me, people like her, people
hasn't
who
been allowed
are
to
in that
perform
situation.
any remixes of her own music, yet her sister can go on stage and remix whatever she wants. And it just shows that Britney's team will let Jamie Lynn do whatever she wants with Britney's music, but won't let Britney do what she wants with the music. So I actually understand why.
And it's her music.
But there's also
her own music. Why is Jamie being allowed to do that for her sister's music, but the person who actually written and sung the song, she couldn't do?
Her sister's music and her spotlight and do whatever she liked. Now they're going to talk a little bit about Jamie Spears, who you guys know was Britney's conservator and the man who controlled her for 13 years.
Do you agree with her assessment that your father was out of line? Honestly, I just believe that if my sister wanted to be out of the conservatorship, then there should, that conversation should be had, and she should be able to facilitate that.
You guys may remember that a New York Times reporter actually pulled some court documents, I believe, from 2016 and showed that Britney was trying to get out of the conservatorship for years and years. So she was trying to
and then she kept getting roadblocks.
Wasn't reciprocating and allowing her to have any freedom. Now let's talk a little bit about Mr. Jamie Spears and his drinking issues, because you guys know that he's an alcoholic, which is very concerning, because
just
why
like
are you
father
controlling Britney's life when you can barely control yourself? But hear what they have to say.
While Dad Jamie was conservator, Jamie Lynn says father and daughter tried to stay sober together. You described the fact that your father in the conservatorship was taking sobriety tests alongside Britney as part of that.
I just probably selfishly looked at it like, everybody's sober right now. I don't have to be anxious for the first time, Like there's actual people making sure everybody's on the right track, and I didn't have to worry what I was walking into.
How would you describe your relationship with him now?
It's real time, real life. Like it's messy.
She would stand up for her father and kiss her father's ass because she worships the ground that her father walks on.
My father, and I have to acknowledge that in a responsible way.
Well, Jamie Lynn, Britney's also your sister, and you need to acknowledge that as well. And I do want to recognize that Jamie Lynn's gone through her own trauma. I mean, I wish the book was a little bit more focused on Jamie Lynn than Britney Spears, because I'm sure Jamie Lynn has gone through some crap, and nobody can take that away from her. Of course, Jamie Lynn goes on and on and on about this teen pregnancy and the fact that she was locked up in this cabin, and her parents and her team just kept her away from her phone and everything. And it's interesting that she dramatizes this moment, because she's really trying to make it seem like she was like kind of almost under control, when in fact she was a minor. So it makes sense that your parents can really they can go and send you off to the cabin so you can go and rest and be pregnant. Like that's not what Britney has gone through. That's not
exactly.
Jamie Lynn claims her family and management team sent her away to a remote cabin somewhere in the snowy Northeast to avoid the media. No phone, no contact with the outside world for weeks.
What was I going to do? I was a kid, and maybe this isn't my best interest, and maybe this is what I'm supposed to do, because of course I don't want to be, hounded by the paparazzi, but it felt like I was really being alienated.
Jamie Lynn also says that her family life had long been plagued by her father's past drinking. According to the New York Times, court papers show he attended rehab for alcoholism in 2004.
He wrote in the book, "He spent most of my life in that cycle of ruinous behavior. His bouts of drinking always caused me periods of torment and sorrow."
It was created a lot of anxiety of the not knowing what I was going to get, and also feeling like I didn't have anybody there to just cut it out until it could be consistent.
I actually do have sympathy for Britney and Jamie when it comes to Jamie Spears' drinking, because, I mean, no one should grow up in a home where your parents are an alcoholic. I mean, obviously it happens, that's life, but it's not easy. And I do recognize that Jamie Lynn has probably gone through struggles because of that. And of course, they talk about Maddie, Jamie Lynn's daughter, the one who she was pregnant with when she was 18. And there was an incident about 5 years ago where Maddie was driving an ATV. An ATV she's not supposed to drive. She was not old enough to drive it. And she flipped into the water. And of course, that's a huge moment for Jamie Lynn and her book. And she is milking this incident.
When a then 8-year-old Maddie, the baby she fought so hard to have, was in a horrific ATV accident.
I went bad on, and all of a sudden,
why was she in this ATV that she was not supposed to be in the first place?
back part of the pond. So the best that I could reason is she tried to get out in the safety net and her head got caught in it. She was trapped.
The family frantically fought to rescue her, but she says Maddie remained underwater for more than 5 minutes.
5 minutes!
From that day.
Did
When I
not
thought that I
anyone
was
have a
so afraid,
knife
her last thought
to
was,
cut the netting that her
"Oh,
head
that
was
was
caught
so
in?
I just hope she knows that like I was doing everything I could if that was the last thing that she lived, you know?
First responders were on the scene within minutes. They freed Maddie and rushed her to the hospital, where she was put on a ventilator.
You describe your priest administering last rites. It was horrible to see your baby. Like she was not unresponsive. I just want
Not
to
one
hear
tear.
somebody speak to
She
her.
can act like she's crying, but she's not
And
shedding a
God said
tear.
her spirit was not ready to go.
She's not
Maddie
shedding
made
one
a
tear.
miraculous recovery.
There was that moment where she opens her eyes and you register that she's there.
Honestly, like it makes me. I'm actually getting emotional right now because like you can't just sit here and act like that sounds so scary. Like when she said like her daughter's last thoughts, like that makes me want to cry. But like I probably would be crying even more right now if it wasn't for those shoulder pads. Like
Yeah, no, those shoulder pads are really too much for her. She shouldn't have shoulder pads. I'm sorry, no. Doesn't look good on her.
But really sad story, Jamie Lamb.
She looked blocky.
I mean, Maddie's alive now, so I mean, at some point she's gonna have to move on from this because it seems like any time that Jamie Lynn wants to get the spotlight, she's like the ATV. Well, mommy, shouldn't have your daughter driving that ATV.
Exactly.
She wasn't supposed to be driving it, but
Shouldn't be driving it.
you guys probably think that Jamie Lynn's not a good person, and honestly, I agree. But I do think that she having her daughter as a teen probably did make her a better person than she could have been. Like, I think she could have been worse, but I do think her daughter Maddie has brought out some good in Jamie Lynn.
Jamie Lynn says her daughter's brush with death forced her to re-examine her entire life, including her childhood traumas and the mental health struggles she had suppressed for years.
It really was like to the point where panic attacks were all consuming, where I'm counting, I'm touching the doorknob 7 times. I've got to, it was consuming my life.
She's not OCD. That's OCD, dear.
And I went and
She's not
finally
fucking
spoke to therapists.
OCD.
At the time, I took
Oh my
medicine and
God.
got back to a place
That's an
where
OCD problem.
I felt stable. So what were the overarching diagnoses? Depression, anxiety, and OCD. It was weird how I would use
What did I say?
drugs
OCD.
trying to fix my depression. Like I felt like if I did certain things certain number of times, it'd make it feel better. Or that would make something bad not happen. That's what I think. It's quite clear throughout the book that you've come to a lot of self-discovery, a lot of painful realizations. I think that when your worst fear happens, you get a lot less afraid of everything else. It made me reevaluate everything and who I was as a person and where I needed to be.
I'm sorry, I'm a better mother than Jamie because I was on top of my daughter since she's been born. I mean, for the 10 years, no, I wasn't because I was forced not to. But as soon as I got hold of my daughter again, I watched her like a hawk. She was not hurt unless it was my fault. I taught her the rights and wrongs in life. I did things that, come on.
At least I am I know there are some things out there, whatever.
I was a better mother than my brother is.
I just want to make sure Britney is in the best place possible, and I don't.
Oh, and if you're worried about this bruise, it's from when I took blood and the woman couldn't get blood out of me.
Locked into a room with a knife, or the fact that Britney was cussing and yelling.
Oh, looking bruise, isn't it?
That's just not going to make Britney look good. And if you're thinking about fixing your relationship with your sister, then why the hell would you go and talk about these things? I mean, I'm waiting for Britney to respond and honestly destroy you. But I hope you guys enjoyed
I'm
this
waiting
video.
for Britney to
Honestly,
destroy
I
her.
was going to do a part 2 of this, but it actually worked out pretty well because
I thank Britney for doing this. For trying to get free from these people. As meantime, they can't stand the fact that she's, and I don't blame Britney. I really don't blame Britney. And I support Britney in all this because I went through it. emotionally, physically, emotionally. I mean, there was a time where I couldn't go out of the house because I was so afraid for myself, for my kid, for my boyfriend. I mean, I was afraid he might kidnap me and bring me back. I mean, I was petrified. But now it's almost been 10 years. Almost. I'm not afraid of an asshole anymore, even though he's an hour or so away from me. My kid is almost 18. She cannot be taken away. He can't do nothing other than kidnap me and her. And if he does that, he will go right back to jail. Because he was in jail because I put him there the first time around because of him using drugs. And this is my brother. He was doing prescription and heroin. Yeah, I had to live with a person like that. And my stepmother and father, who are now dead, are covered for. And when he got out of jail, did they punish him? Did they teach him, no, you can't be doing this shit? No. What did they do? Oh, we went out and got you a new basketball. Go to the basketball court and play with your druggy friends. They acted like what he did in the past did not matter. That it was okay. Keep on doing what you're doing. They were like rewarding him. Yeah, you don't do that. Okay? I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm on Britney's side on this. And I root for Britney. I'm Team Britney all the way on this because I've lived that. And if Britney wants to get a hold of me, I will love that. So I can give her my moral support. I mean, she's an inspiration. There should be a foundation for people like us, or some type of rights for us, to not be put under this type of strain. So when there was no need for it. These narcissistic people get away with a lot of shit because they like to tend to make themselves the victim. And that's all I got to say about that.